individuality. The opium laws were put in place in 195, which consisted of a lot of rules and regulations to keep people from displaying too much luxury and too much wealth. And this was particularly on women who couldn't display a lot of like gold jewelry and things like that. Just a lot against excess. And so this quote comes from a protest to have them repealed. So women cannot partake in magistracies, priesthoods, triumphs, badges of office, gifts, or spoils of war. Elegance, finery, and beautiful clothes are women's badges. In these they find joy and take pride. This our forebears called the women's world. So this was a sort of debated topic. Most women did not like these laws because they wanted to be able to show off what they had, particularly elite women.
So hairstyles were kind of, hairstyles and makeup specifically, were kind of different than how we do it nowadays. Because a lot of people try to do a natural look and they don't want to have too much makeup or too much effort put in their hair. But then they put a lot of effort in their hair and makeup, which replicated their gender, age, wealth, and social status. So for example, the more slaves that a woman had, the more higher social status she obviously had because she had more money. The young girls would often just leave their hair down until I think they got into their teenish years and they became more adults, in which they would style their hair usually up or in some kind of knot. And actually the next slide has some pictures of styles that they did. And they would use hairpins and hair nets to hold their hair in place, and they would add sometimes little adornments of some kind that would be possibly religious or just in relation to their family that kind of replicated their social status as well. So here's an example. There's a lady named Janet Stevens. I can't remember where she's from, but she was a hairstylist who was interested in how they make these hairstyles come together. So she did some research on it, and she tried to make them herself. And then through that research, she realized that they were a lot harder than archaeologists had always thought they were. So here's an example of Vestal Virgin style. This is known as the notice, or this is the most similar picture I can find to the notice style, which is when the hair gets divided into 3 or more braids, and then it's shaped into a low bun. So she kind of has it down around her head, kind of complex. And it took them a while, which is probably why the slaves were really necessary. In terms of men, just so we have an idea of that, before the 2nd century, they didn't really shave their hair that much, and it was more they grew it out into like the luscious locks you see in movies. And then afterward, during the 2nd century, they started getting more of barbers who would cut their hair for them and shave their hair for them, so they trim it pretty low usually. They were rarely depicted bald in sculptures, as you've probably seen. You'll never really see a male sculpture with no hair on his head. Usually he has beautiful hair. So it may have been something that was viewed as a problem. And some emperors of the time would wear things like laurel wreaths around their head, which some people say maybe those were to hide the fact that they were bald. Dyes and bleaches were used on hair, but they were also more of a higher social status thing. I have a quote here that is by Tertullian, a historian from Carthage, 2nd century AD, and he says, "The force of the cosmetics burns ruin into the hair, and the constant application of even any undrugged moisture lays up a store of harm for the head. While the sun's warmth, too, so desirable for imparting the hair at once growth and dryness, is hurtful. What grace is compatible with injury? What beauty with impurities?" He's pretty much saying they're using all these harsh chemicals and everything on their hair, and it's so much harm to them. Is that actually beautiful? Like, is it worth that? Okay.
Jewelry was one of the biggest ways that women would display their wealth in life and after death. A lot of sarcophagus depictions have women with a ton of jewelry, gold, gems, things like that. Men would usually only wear a ring, like sometimes a gold ring, maybe set with gems, and sometimes they would use them as seals as well, with like their family, like an image to depict their family. The most common jewelry were fibulae, which are brooches, and these were actually really practical because women would use them to literally hold their clothes up, but they were also a chance to really show off. They might be engraved or set with jewels. And gold was really common for these, but gold's a really soft metal, so often you need another metal then plated with gold to look like it was solid gold, but it actually wasn't. And so once the opium laws were repealed, jewelry became extremely popular. Women would wear rings, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, just everything. And after plundering many areas, particularly in the East, the Romans brought back jewelry that contributed to the cultural influence from other areas. And in Rome, the Greeks and the Etruscans were too. really big influences. This is an example of an Etruscan fibula. It's a cat chasing two birds, and you can see kind of how it looks sort of similar to a modern safety pin, where it has a little like spring thing on it and a pin that would go through the fabric. And this is a collection of jewelry from the 1st to the 3rd centuries, which shows a really wide variety of gold jewelry set with gems and different engravings and things. So they were very complicated and really showed off well.
And in terms of cosmetics, there was a lot of cosmetics used, like I had said. It was also a depiction of social status. And they used things that we would normally use today, like powders, lip color, eyeliner, and blush. However, the only difference, obviously, was they were made of natural products, whereas the things we use now, most of the time, are made of chemicals and things that are probably bad for you. So they would use olive oil, beeswax, and dyes from mulberry and saffron that would add color and pigmentation to it. Face powder was often used to make your skin appear pale and smooth because it was a symbol of wealth. You're not working outside, so you don't have a tan, so you must be wealthy. And they had expensive designer cosmetics and a cheaper version as well for fragrances. And those ones would last a while longer, and they'd be better quality, and they wouldn't really run or melt on the face or wherever you would apply them. And some authors argue that prostitutes would use cosmetics to make themselves more attractive, and because of that, men didn't want their wives wearing makeup because then their friends